Hello, friends. My name is Gene. My wife Renee and I retired in 2022 and began traveling through Mexico, Canada, and the USA. For a few weeks, Renee has been helping her mom while our oldest grandson Andrew and I have been on a trip across parts of Canada and some of the western states. This series of our trip is called Gene and Andrew's Great Adventure, and it has definitely been an adventure. Sometimes it's been more challenging than we expected, but it has been an adventure. At the end of the episodes chronicling our trip, Andrew and I will sit down with you and give you our thoughts on the trip as a whole. In the last episode, number 19 in the series, we arrived in Victor, Idaho, and began exploring Jackson, Wyoming. Today's episode will continue the focus on Jackson and let us take a peek in many of the local stores, walk the sidewalks of Jackson, and have a delicious dinner at one of TripAdvisor's top-rated of the nearly 80 restaurants around town. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and after watching it, please share it with your friends. We hope that you enjoy today's episode. Jackson is a gorgeous mountain town, but it's a very expensive place to live. We went over a lot of the stats in the last episode. The median income in Tetons County is around $108,000. The price of an average single-family home, $7 million. That's insane. They say that it's so expensive that billionaires are pushing the millionaires out. Can you imagine? Oh, Buffy. Yes, Reginald. The new neighbors are only worth $100 million. And at this depressing news, Buffy burst out in tears. There goes the neighborhood. Must be tough, right? The real problem is that in this beautiful town, your chefs, waitresses, essential personnel, the vital backbone that sustains the town, cannot afford to live in or pay real estate taxes here. I heard the story of one older lady that was living in a third or fourth generation home. House, of course, had been paid for probably 100 years ago, but she's got to sell her home because she cannot afford to pay the exorbitant real estate taxes. It's a real shame. Antler arches have been gates to the Jackson Town Square since 1960. The antlers are from elk that winter on the National Elk Refuge. About 7,500 elk spend each winter on the refuge just outside of town. The bulls shed their antlers each spring. Antlers are picked up by the local Boy Scouts and sold by public auction in the square each May. All four arches in the town square were built by the Jackson Hole Rotary Club. You're welcome to enjoy them when in town, but if you dare to remove an antler from the arches, they'll fine you up to $750. I imagine it could be like that game Jenga that if you pull one from the bottom, they all may or may not come tumbling down. You can probably see the ski slopes of the mountains behind some of the pictures in this episode, of course, minus the snow. Lots to see here. Let's look around some. When you're in Jackson, you're very centrally located near some of the best that the West has to offer. If skiing is your thing, there's ski resorts like Jackson Hole Mountain, Snow King Mountain, and Grand Targhee. If you enjoy hiking and exploring nature, you're only 4.5 miles from the entrance to Grand Tetons National Park. You're only 57 miles to Yellowstone National Park. If boating and fishing is your cup of tea, there's Jackson Lake, just 42 miles north up Highway 89. Jackson Lake is 15 miles by 7 miles and at its deepest, 438 feet. You can catch brown trout, lake trout, Snake River fine spotted cutthroat trout, and mountain whitefish. Several marinas around the lake. If you're a hunter, you can hire guides to take you and your party to bag that big elk, or moose, sheep, mule deer, antelope, or bear. If you would rather film the wildlife instead of killing it, you'll have no trouble maxing out your cloud storage. Jackson Hole is indeed an outdoor enthusiast perfect retreat, but of course, you'd better have a big credit limit because it will cost you. But hey, if shopping is more your thing, Jackson promises to not disappoint. There's literally something here for everyone. I remember eating at the Gun Barrel Steak and Game House back 20 years ago, and I had to introduce my grandson Andrew to this fine restaurant. They're located in what used to be the Wyoming Wildlife Museum and Taxidermy. Most of the game trophies you will see here came with the old building. Andrew enjoyed a 6-ounce mesquite grilled elk loin, served sliced with a red wine and huckleberry reduction. I, on the other hand, I made out quite well with an 8-ounce piece of bison prime rib. There are plenty of antique cowboy artifacts displayed around the restaurant, and you can feast on bison and elk here, salmon or rainbow trout, or stick with a good steak. The food was great. The service was excellent. I highly recommend the Gun Barrel restaurant at least once on your visit to Jackson. In the next episode, we're going to drive up to the Upper Mesa Falls in Fremont County, Idaho. It definitely was gorgeous, and I think you'll enjoy it. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video. Our adventures are so much better because you're on the journey with us. Have an amazing week, my friend.